Downtown Los Angeles, it's a tale of two cities, the 110 freeway dividing them. The east side of the freeway has suddenly become one of the hottest real estate markets in America. Major construction projects are underway all over the place. But right next door, in the neighborhoods west of the 110, many families are living below the poverty line. President Obama calls this place the Promise Zone, and people here say they want some of those construction jobs over in the next neighborhood.
At the construction sites across the 110, we have 12 major construction projects.
So what we're trying to do is to create more jobs.
And take me out to the bowl game, where the Dodgers' new business management team is facing new challenges.
The whole vibe in the stadium has changed.
Guggenheim Partners paid more than $2 billion for the Dodgers. Did they overpay?
I was part of a group that was trying to buy the Dodgers, so it's, they paid a lot of money for it, but, that's their business, basically.
The first African American to serve on the Santa Ana Police Department made headlines when he saved the lives of two little girls, but many residents still doubted him at traffic stops.
There are times when I stop a Caucasian person, they look back and say, "Why are you stopping me? We don't have black cops in Orange County."
Okay, let's talk about the tale of two cities. Right now we're on the Harbor Freeway, the 110. It's the line of demarcation. On this side, the downtown area is red hot, full of new, interesting things.
It's 1:30 at 8.
Welcome to downtown Los Angeles, where business is suddenly booming. There's economic energy everywhere. This area has become one of the hottest real estate markets in America. Money from around the world is pouring in from investors who want to own a piece of downtown Los Angeles.
In downtown Los Angeles right now, you have this incredible surge of development. Literally billions of dollars are pouring into this community. You have people building apartment complexes. You have people building expensive condominium buildings. There's parks opening. The money is coming from all over the place, literally across the country and even around the globe. Chinese investors are starting to invest billions of dollars.
For decades, downtown LA was a dark center, a bland collection of buildings and empty streets. At night, it became a wasteland. Now, thousands of people crowd into the area at night for the monthly Art Walk Festival. Hundreds of restaurants and bars have opened up. People who worked downtown 20 years ago can't believe the change.
It's vibrant, it's alive. There's people walking around, people are coming downtown for eating, for shows at night. I mean, it's completely different than it used to be 20 years ago.
What was it like when you worked here?
You'd get off from work and there was maybe one restaurant downtown.
Every day, 500,000 people come to work downtown. The number of residents has more than doubled to over 50,000 the past 10 years. Many of these new folks are young and single. Here's what these high-energy people do after a long day's work: rock climbing and bonding at this downtown gym.
It's not just the sport itself, it's like a community. When you come to the gym, it's like being with family. It's just amazing. It's like the most supportive group of people you'll ever meet.
GQ magazine called LA the next great American city. And get this, the New York Times listed downtown Los Angeles as one of the top 5 places to visit in the world this year. Some of the young newcomers are giving LA a national reputation. Ari Taymor's tiny bistro on Broadway, Alma, with just a small sign out front, was named the best new restaurant in America by Bon Appetit magazine. This 28-year-old was a philosophy major who enjoyed cooking at home.
Home cooking is, it's a very deliberate act where everything builds to this point where you all sit down together and share something. Restaurant cooking is about repetition and about consistency and about being able to repeat the same experience over and over and over again, almost exactly the same.
But how did this explosive growth happen? What was the turning point in this transformation?
Obviously, Staples Center coming in 1999 was a critical addition to the downtown environment. It was a $1 billion investment by a large company made other investors sit up and take notice.
Carol Schatz, sometimes called the Queen of Downtown, is president of the Central City Association. Schatz concedes that developers have had it easy here, some getting millions of dollars in tax breaks from the city.
You cannot define a great city by a beach, a sign, and 2 theme parks. If you do not bring life to the center of your city, you will see blight spread into every neighborhood around it. All you need to do is look at Detroit, Michigan, and know that that is true.
Talk about bringing life to the city center. There are now more artists working in downtown LA than any time in the city's history. Some of the artists who live downtown were not happy with the choice of schools for their children, so they got organized and created the Metro Charter Elementary School, now in its first year.
We were a group of parents who used to meet for play dates in the local park in downtown, and we felt that there was a real need for an educational institution. So it was really a naive effort, I would say, at the beginning, at play dates to meet and conceptualize dream about a school that would one day happen.
Of course, downtown suffers the same gridlock and crime issues that occur in other neighborhoods. Police say violent crime is down, but that petty crime is a constant among the huge homeless population.
The reason why we have to deal with this overconcentration is that most of the elected officials that we are dealing with do not want to hear screams of pain from their neighborhoods in their districts.
Some people from outlying suburban neighborhoods are actually choosing to spend the weekend in downtown LA. The Ace Hotel has become a hipster hotspot. Theater and sports are bringing people in. There are tours of grand old buildings, and now 10 years old, Disney Hall has become a local landmark. What are you selling?
Shoes for children, flower girl dresses, wedding accessories, quinceañera accessories. So if you have any daughters that are getting married, or if you're getting married again, come check us out.
The Santee Alley shopping area is one of the best places in town for negotiating prices and people watching. You might want to check the origin of these sidewalk DVDs. Meantime, families from every income level have been sharing meals at the Grand Central Market for decades. Ethnic delights are still served here, but more trendy vendors are coming.
You see the traditional vendors slinging pupusas and groceries and meat, but you're really seeing these boutique vendors coming in to provide a sort of premium experience, whether that's freshly squeezed juices or coffee, or even oysters. An oyster business is coming in to serve shucked oysters and champagne.
For decades, there was just one supermarket in Little Tokyo that served most of downtown. Now, Whole Foods is coming in. Ralph's was the first major brand market to open here, and it's been doing booming business the past 5 years.
The Ralph's has been a phenomenal addition to downtown, and their deli is the #1 grossing deli in the whole Kroger chain nationwide. So apparently all of these young people who are living downtown don't cook. But
now let's go to the other side of the 110 freeway. It's one of the poorest neighborhoods in America. It's a place where lots of people drive through but don't actually stop. Still, the president noticed it. Just west of the 110 freeway, where 160,000 people live, is an area the president calls the Promise Zone. The White House has given this name to only 3 cities in America, where the president claims there's a need for special government spending because of poverty, crime, and lack of opportunity.
We call these communities Promise Zones. They're neighborhoods where we will help local efforts to meet one national goal, that a child's course in life should be determined not by the zip code she's born in, but by the strength of her work ethic and the scope of her dreams.
LA's Promise Zone includes the neighborhoods of Pico Union, Westlake, East Hollywood, and parts of Koreatown. 25% of the households here earn less than $15,000 a year, the rates of violent crime and poverty are much higher than the rest of Los Angeles. For many Hispanic immigrants, the Promised Zone is their first home in America, and living wage jobs are hard to find. People here have noticed all the prosperity and economic growth on the other side of the 110 freeway.
On the other side of the 110, we see beautiful buildings. We see all of these businesses in the area. And on this part of the freeway, we see a whole different picture, the poor neighborhoods, right? So what we're trying to do is to create more jobs for the future generations so that they have better tools to prepare for the future.
Where are you from?
From Salvador.
El Salvador?
Yes.
Honduras. ¿Dónde?
De Guatemala.
Guatemala?
El Salvador, Centroamérica.
You like it here?
¿Te gusta aquí? Sí. Delicious.
For most of these Central American immigrants, life and hope revolve around the family and the children. Sunday afternoon dinner at Playa Las Tunas on Alvarado Street is a chance to relax and reflect on the dreams people have for their kids, which are getting them into schools and on the path toward a better life. But neighborhood gangs are a menace.
The schools are not safe here. The kids have to run away from so many things, and the last thing they're thinking is focus on study, but they focus on something else. So it's really bad. So we need safer communities. We need better education. We need our kids to really, really have a chance.
Community leaders running for neighborhood council in Pico Union are actively looking for ways to get people into jobs across the 110 freeway and into the booming construction industry.
At the construction sites across the 110, we have 12 major construction projects. What happens is the construction people or the superintendents will call here and say, hey, I need this skill. And we don't have that. And they have asked us to qualify youth to go over there and work over there. So we have a program now we're putting together by the LAUSD Adult Education for construction certification.
That kind of construction class, like this one at Trade Tech, is the kind of project the president wants to see in the Promised Zone.
In a section of LA that stretches from Pico Union to Hollywood, the population decreased by 13,000 people in just 10 years. So developers are working to build more affordable housing. Technical schools and community colleges are helping more people get the training they need to get jobs. It's a project worth investing in.
There's a shortage of brand name supermarkets in the Promised Zone. This food bank on Venice Boulevard is a nonprofit selling food that is near its expiration date and produce that is too late for the major markets to sell.
Delicious.
Is that overripe?
No, this is perfect. We did a demographic study in this particular zip code, and 98% of the kids from K to 12 are on the school lunch program. So that means 98 kids out of 100 is living in poverty.
Major supermarkets receive a tax deduction for donating some of their slightly older food to this food bank. Thousands of local people shop here, where it costs $30 a visit. Why should people come here instead of going to a supermarket?
Well, for $30, I don't know how much food you could get at a supermarket, but here you get over 100 pounds of food. You pick your own fresh fruits and vegetables, you pick your own breads, and then we have an already made food basket.
I save in a lot, $100 every time when I come here.
Churches play a major role in helping immigrants make the transition into America.
We can make a difference.
So far, none of the millions of dollars promised by the president has been received. Immigrant rights groups, hoping to get Promised Zone funds, point out that growth on the other side of the 110 freeway was financed partly with help from tax incentives.
It saddens me to hear that developers and corporations in Los Angeles get tax breaks that that regular people and small business owners don't get. People are surprised often that they think they know Los Angeles until they come to a neighborhood like ours. We definitely have one of the poorest and most densely populated areas in Pico Union, Westlake area in the country, not only of California.
Of course, there's a lot of vitality, entrepreneurship, and Latin color in most of these neighborhoods. Special classes like this one are supposed to be a major recipient of the president's Promise Zone funding. These teens are high school dropouts who couldn't make it in public schools. Here at the Youth Policy Institute, these kids are getting more individual attention and a chance to dream.
At a public school, it was a lot of students, so it was hard to keep up with each other. And there's less drama here.
What's your goal here?
My goal here would be to finish getting my high school diploma and getting the help to go into vocational nursing, which they provide here in the school.
This is basically like my second chance since I screwed up education at a regular high school. And I'm just trying to better my own education since I really was a goof up.
So downtown LA is getting national attention for its wealth and its poverty. One side of town is showing great promise. The other side, well, lots of promises are being made in the Promise Zone. Okay, change of pace. Now we're heading to Dodger Stadium, where there's a whole new management team running the baseball team. One of the top executives, Lon Rosen, is a local guy who grew up a Dodger fan, now has his dream job. This year, the Dodgers have the highest payroll in Major League Baseball. The team's new owners have brought them back from bankruptcy, spending millions of dollars on stadium improvements and strengthening security at the ballpark.
I think the fans wanted to see a different team on the field. We've been able to put a really great bunch of players out on the field. Obviously the payroll's increased quite a bit. Just the whole vibe in the stadium has changed. We put about $150 million in the last 2 years into the physical stadium here. We love this iconic stadium. Everybody loves Dodger Stadium, but it needed a bit of a facelift. But it still looks the same. We just did some nips and tucks that help people here.
That's Lon Rosen, Executive Vice President of the Dodgers. He's an LA native, grew up in the San Fernando Valley. Rosen got his start in sports management as an intern with the Lakers. There he met a guy named Magic Johnson.
When I worked for the Lakers, we became friends. We're the same age, and we became friends right off the bat. And then we had a working relationship we developed, working for the Lakers. And at one point, he said, why don't you leave the Lakers and become my agent? I mean, what more can anybody ask for? Leave the Lakers, become Magic Johnson's agent in the height of his career? I was the luckiest guy alive.
Magic Johnson became part owner of the Dodgers when the team was purchased by Guggenheim Partners. But what's Johnson's role with the team?
He's one of the owners of the team, and he gets involved in all types of things here. He works with the players, advising them at times. He helps promote the team. He doesn't do anything when it comes to trades and things like that. He gets involved with our sponsors, works with our fans. He does a lot of things here. He's a pretty good Pied Piper for all of us here.
Guggenheim Partners is a privately held investment firm managing more than $200 billion in assets. In buying the Dodgers, Guggenheim paid more than $2 billion, the highest price ever paid for a baseball team.
It's a great ownership group. It's led by Mark Walter and Todd Bowley. They basically let us run the team. Stan Kassen's the president of the organization. I report to him. Obviously, they're there to help us and advise us quite a bit. Most importantly, they give us enough money to put a great team on the field.
Did Guggenheim overpay for the Dodgers, $2.1 billion?
No, I think I was at an event with Mark Walter and someone said, do you think you overpaid for the Dodgers, paying $2 million, $150 million? I said, no, it's not worth $3 or $4 billion possibly. No, I don't think so. There's very few iconic teams in the entire world, and this was one of them.
Why do you like the Dodgers?
I like the Dodgers because my favorite color is blue and that they play really good.
Still, the major hiccup involved the Dodgers' $8 billion deal with Time Warner Cable. When other cable operators were reluctant to sign up, many Dodger fans were alienated.
As a Dodger fan, I'm very upset. I won't be able to enjoy my Dodgers. I have to go to, a sports bar.
Television has changed over the last decade, and this is the trend in television. If you see this, it's the same way basically all over the country. Monday Night Football used to be on ABC, and right now it's on ESPN. I understand what people feel about it, but obviously a lot of people are big fans of ours, and I'm sure that we're going to be where you want to be on the television dial very, very soon.
The Dodgers are the biggest draw in Major League Baseball. They lead the league in attendance at home and on the road. Opening day featured parachute jumpers, fireworks, legendary figures like Vince Scully, Fernando Valenzuela, and other heroes from the past were saluted by the sellout crowd.
We want to sell every ticket we can every night, and we strive to do that as much as we can. We'd like to have a sellout every game if we could. And we plan these things. We have promotions built around certain games where there's games that we think won't do as well. We actually have a strategy around every single game. Every game is like a movie opening for us, and we have to look at each one and market it and really plan what we're going to do with each game.
From a business point of view, the Dodgers could generate a lot of money by selling the naming rights to Dodger Stadium, such as the Giants did at AT&T Park. Ever thought about selling the naming rights?
That's not something in our plans right now. We're doing very, very well in sponsorship sales. We feel right now we're in a good place to be right where we are with that.
This is quite a piece of real estate. Any plans on using that parking lot or developing the parking lot?
Well, that parking lot is for parking. Our plans right now is to just do what we're doing.
The price of hot dogs, the price of parking, what about that kind of thing?
Our pricing is very competitive with others. Our parking right now, you can come in our parking lot for $10 as long as you buy it in advance.
For a guy who grew up rooting for the Dodgers, this is a dream job. Lon, how long do you think you want to do this? What could you do next that would top this?
I'm doing this for the rest of my life. I'm not going anywhere.
Of course, the Dodgers made history with Jackie Robinson, the first African American in the major leagues. But across the country, there were other pioneers like Harlan Lambert in Orange County.
Step to your right to avoid confrontation.
We caught up with Harlan Lambert recently at this park in Fullerton, where he was helping people train dogs they got in shelters and the pound.
We're doing free training tips for those people who have adopted those dogs, because those people who adopted those dogs have saved the dogs' lives. Okay, watch this.
A retired cop, Lambert became an expert in training canines to find cell phones that prison inmates were using to run criminal enterprises from inside prisons.
My wife and I were the first two in the United States to train dogs to find cell phones for law enforcement.
Here's another first. Harlan was the first African American on the Santa Ana Police Department. That's his picture in the newspaper in 1970 after being named Policeman of the Year for saving two little girls from a burning house. Over 40 years later, that little girl whose life Lambert saved tracked him down on Facebook to thank him personally for saving her life and her sister's life. Angela Basor was 4 years old when her mother died in that fire. You think you owe your life to him?
Absolutely, absolutely. My life, my children. I have two beautiful daughters. They're 19 and 14. And I have a good life today.
You've made me a different person. I'll tell you the reason why. Every time I drive south on the 5 freeway, because many times I wonder what happened to you guys.
When they did finally meet, they recalled that frightening experience.
I remember waking up and hearing glass shattering. You know, the sound that it makes when it explodes, that ksh, ksh, ksh. And I heard a lot of that. And I remember going to my bedroom door and touching the doorknob and that it was hot. And I remember watching Lamb, who I know now to be Officer Lambert, coming in the window to get me and my sister. And I remember standing outside the house watching the roof cave in.
Took my nightstick and knocked out the window, and I heard a little kid crying. I crawled into the house on my knees, managed to find the bed, pull a little girl out, took her to the window, and handed her to my follow-up officer. Follow-up officer said, "Hey, Lamb, don't go back in." So I went back into the room, crawled around, and found the second girl.
Harlan reminded us how much Orange County has progressed since 1970. For example, at a routine traffic stop, he would be challenged.
There are times when I stop a Caucasian person, exit my car, walk up to their car, they look back and say, "Why you stop me? You know, we don't have black cops in Orange County." There were times I would have to call another officer to assist me to stop the car again.
Now, 44 years later, Lamb, as they call him, is still dedicating his life to serving others.
What I'm really glad about that I'm able to give back to people who couldn't afford what I have.
That's it for this edition of the Drive-By Economist. I'm Doug Kriegel. See you later.